everyone, and thank you for joining us to this episode of our Digital Live. Today, I'm joined with Chris Davis. He's a digital activation specialist at Automotive News, and he's here today to give a little bit of insight on his time as an intern and give a little bit of insight of what he does now. So thank you for joining us, Chris. How are you doing
Thank
so
you.
far today?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And, if anyone has any questions while you're watching, feel free to put them in the comments and we will answer them as soon as we're done asking Chris some questions. So my first question for you, Chris, is just, give us a little quick introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your experiences at the clinic, and some general info about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Chris Davis. I graduated from Ohio State in 2016. Currently, I'm with Automotive News as a digital activation specialist. So in that role, I manage a few custom content programs, and implementation of them. So these can range from working with clients to get articles on our website. We have a ongoing video program right now called End of the Driver's Seat, as well as a section on our website called the Resource Center, which is sort of like lead generation. So when I was with the clinic, I interned with Warmilu. Warmilu was a startup that pretty much created like these heating packs that were used to keep premature babies warm. It was really cool technology. It was pretty much a situation where you didn't need electricity to use it. You could boil these packs in water, like if you had heat and water, and then you could put it in a cloth sleeve, and that would keep the baby warm. So when I was with Warmilu, my primary job there was creating a how-to video for the CEOs, investors, people she was presenting to, just to sort of get the concept of her product across.
Awesome. That sounds super fun, especially with power outages that we're having with the weather lately. This sounds like this product would be great to have in times like these.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, definitely if you had like a gas stove, you it could work with that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So then my next question is, what did a typical day look like for you in the clinic? And then did you do this in person? Was it hybrid, remote? Like, how was that? And then how does it differ from your days today as an intern?
Well, I would say nowadays definitely a lot more meetings.
Okay.
When I was an intern, the main things we did, I want to say we had a weekly meeting. We had a weekly check-in meeting with the supervisor. And then we had a weekly sort of like class session with Bud Gibson, and oftentimes he bring a speaker, a guest, and they will sort of go over like a digital marketing topic. So those were kind of the main components. And then I had to work on my projects on like my own time. And the main project I had was working on video content, like I mentioned, sort of the how-to video and some other video content that we kind of needed when I was an intern.
Awesome. So are you in the office right now for your job?
For my current job, I'm hybrid. So sometimes in the office, sometimes I'm at home. You guys got me on a at-home day.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I feel like hybrid's the best of both worlds. You get to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, absolutely.
My next question for you is, what skills did you acquire as a content creator that have helped you in your role as a digital activation specialist today?
Yeah, so a few skills. So the first one is obviously I actually still do video work in my current job. So when I was with Warmilu, I was kind of working on like the how-to videos and stuff like that. Right. In my current role, I've sort of shifted more to producing content. So so a lot of our videos tend to be it's similar to this format. It's a lot of it's interview style content, and we usually have an interviewer and we have a client that comes on, and I'm the one in the background making sure that the script is being followed, checking for any technical difficulties, making sure we're keeping within our time limits and things of that nature. So definitely the video content that I did as an intern definitely had a component. And then I will say another thing is there was some training on like SEO when I was an intern, and I definitely still use a lot of those skills because my current role, a lot of times, like I'm getting articles from certain clients and individuals, and I'm the one that kind of has to proofread them. I may have to tweak a headline, adjust formatting, just so that the articles can better fit like SEO standards, and
Right.
they've got a better shot of, ranking higher on Google, things of that nature.
Yeah, awesome. Finding more leads that way through the SEO. Awesome. Actually, just a personal question for your role that you do now. You said you do more producing. Do you have a studio that you produce with, or is it like that you work through, or is it just through your phone, or?
So a lot of the video content I do is at least for the past, I'd say like year and a half, it has been virtual. So we've used StreamYard.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And we were able to get our clients to just come in from anywhere, and we conduct interviews that way. But Automotive News does have an in-person production studio. So when there are like in-person video type things, we do have those capabilities. And we actually have an event coming up in September called Automotive News Congress. It's sort of like the biggest thing that we usually do for the year. And there will be some in-person video content for that that event for sure.
Awesome. Okay. And another question I have is, what are some commonly faced challenges that you have, and how do you overcome them?
Yeah. So, so as far as challenges, I would say number one thing I didn't mention before is that I do deal with metrics quite a bit, right? I'm like checking metrics and analytics in different programs, page views, video views, downloads, if there's like a lead generation type thing. And I will say that one challenge is always, always trying to understand and see why things are going the way they are. So like, it may be a situation where a certain program does really well in April and then it doesn't do as well in May. And like having to be the person to sort of like look at those numbers, work with my supervisor to come up with solutions and things of that nature can definitely be a challenge. So I mean, as far as overcoming them, it's mainly just sort of staying on top of trends, seeing, what our audience may react to, looking for changes within platforms, things of that nature, and always be willing to like change and adjust. And then I would say the other challenge is in my current role, I work with a lot of external clients, and a lot of times they're like submitting articles to me, submitting graphics to me, submitting certain like assets to me. And I've had to be a lot more comfortable like getting on the phone and having calls with people to like communicate like details of what's needed, because a lot of times, like if I'm just sending an email to a client, they may not understand exactly what I'm looking for just by reading it. So definitely overcoming that has just been being able to get on the phone, having like a human one-on-one connection. We use Microsoft Teams, so you're kind of able to screen share. So a lot of times I'll screen share and like point out exactly what I'm looking for. And that's been really helpful and effective.
Awesome. That's really glad that you're able to do that, especially because getting over that really takes like that spurt of confidence that, you can grow within yourself through that role. I feel like being able to do that.
Absolutely.
And then my last question for you is just, what's some advice that you'd give someone who might be in the same position as you? I know that your company isn't in the clinic this year, but, there might be some similar roles.
Yeah. So advice like pertaining to the clinic itself, I would say that just try to soak up and learn as much as possible, because you never know when like learning things you never know when like learning small things can really like have an impact as you grow in your career. And then I would say just kind of career advice in general, especially in marketing. I don't know if all the clinic interns are like, when I did it, I like recently graduated from college. I don't know if some of them are like still in undergrad, things of that nature. But I would definitely say that if you're someone who's like looking for your first job, maybe you're close to graduating, things of that nature, definitely try to leverage any opportunities you've been a part of, and don't be afraid to sort of like maybe freelance or do certain things to kind of show off your skills. So this could be an example, would be like building a website. I found that like I taught myself WordPress after I graduated, and that was really helpful in like a lot of the jobs I've had, just because knowing how to work in websites has been really useful, just sort of like as a marketer. And I mean, you don't have to be like a hardcore like programmer. programs like WordPress, Drupal, Squarespace, etc. If you're able to sort of get in those programs, which tend to be a lot more visual, and there's a lot of like guides, being able to do a lot of that work can be really helpful. And if you're someone that's doing like photography, video, etc., freelance opportunities. I mean, I when I was younger, I did like engagement photos for friends. I took prom photos and things of that nature, and I got that on my website. And
Right.
that I was able to leverage those as examples. As I was kind of looking for more corporate work. So being able to just leverage anything you know how to do, even if it's not like an official job with a title, can definitely be helpful in when you're in like the early job search process. You may not have had those years of experience at a company just quite yet.
That is an awesome piece of advice. We've had a couple of people mention similar things. So obviously this is very important, and it could tip you over the edge. This person might be interviewing you, and you mentioned one little thing and they'd be like, oh wow, we can expand on that. So
absolutely,
that's an awesome piece of advice. It looks like that's all the questions I have for you, and it looks like we don't have any questions in the chat. So just want to thank everyone for joining us today for our digital live, and thank you, Chris, for coming and chatting with me. It was really great to hear everything you got to say and all the advice and all the past experience that you've been able to share with us. Sorry. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, our digital, it's called Digital Summer Clinic, and all of our media platforms, so that you don't miss anything. And then to everyone watching, we will be joined with Anastasia on June 28th, which is this Wednesday at 12 p.m. And she is a support operations team lead at Cody, and also a former clinic intern. So we'll be able to hear more about her experiences and where it's led her. So you won't want to miss that. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you there again on Wednesday.